Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. It's great to speak to you again. It's a new year. It doesn't really feel that long ago since we spoke last on this podcast, but here we are. We're back again with a brand new season. So it's Matt James's Bachelor season. And what did you make of old Matt James there?
Dave, there's a point in your life where you look at yourself in the mirror and you think, you know what? I've had points when I've looked pretty good. I've never looked like Matt James, Dave. What a fucking specimen this guy is. Absolute athlete. I don't think there was any sport that he's not been fucking competent or great at. I mean, yeah, he absolutely ticks all the boxes for just being an absolute, not alpha male, just an absolute. I respect anybody who looks after the body like that, Dave. I'm sure you do, and he just looks the business. And what a great way as well. What he seemed like a really nice lad. The first black contestant. Got the backstory about his family and that. Yeah, I'm buying into him, Dave. It's the first week. I'll probably be in a few weeks going, what a wanker. But at the moment, and he seems very genuine, very grounded. So I think, I don't know. I'll leave me powder dry as we go through the episode. But yeah, so far, so good for me. I think he was quite a good guy.
You know what? I've just remembered something as well. I think it was last week I saw this, right? So one of the accounts I follow on Twitter, it's a comic book writer called Louise Simonson. Her husband is Walt Simonson, and did a iconic run on Thor, which is basically shapes the character that you see in the movies now. And you know, they seem like really nice people, and they've been doing like the whole Comic Con circuit for years and years. And she put out this thread the other day, and she was saying, you know, of all these kind of shows that they go to, you know, what do you think are the worst type of people? You know, so they meet sports stars, they meet movie stars, TV stars, wrestling, you know, or wrestlers rather. You know, all these different people. You know, Chris, you went to it was the MGN one, wasn't it, last year? So you get
Yeah.
all sorts there. You know, ex footballers and everything. And she said the worst type of people are reality TV people. Like, just in terms of how fake they are and how they treat other people and all the staff that are there to, like, you know, help the whole event go smoothly and stuff. They treat them like shit. And I'll have to dig it out and send it to you, because she was saying, she's saying, I'm not going to mention the names, but these three people from this reality show were all going on about this party, but then they were all talking to other people about how they hate the other two, these three reality people. So each one of them was like, oh, you know, they're talking about going to this party, but I'm not going to it. I hate those two. You know, all three of them were saying the exact same thing about each other. So everyone else is obviously, you know, sharing this information, and sure enough, you know, none of them turn up. But I just thought it was really interesting that someone's opinion that I respect there is just called out these fake douchebags. But anyway, Chris, hooray for another season of fake douchebags. So, but what I would say is, you know, there's been a bit of a rumbling. The fact that Matt James, you know, he hasn't cut his teeth on another season. You know, he hasn't appeared like Ben on The Bachelorette. You know, we were saying he's auditioning just to be The Bachelor. It does seem you have these serial Bachelor contestants. You know, they'll appear on one season and then they'll appear on another. And so when I was reading this whole thing from Louise Simonson, I was just thinking about these people who end up on one season of Bachelor, go on to the next, to the next, to the next, and enjoy this little slice of fame that they've got. Matt James seems authentic to me. The fact that he hasn't come, you know, from another, say, a Bachelorette season. You know, this is his first season. Doesn't really know what to expect. You could see that, you know, he loves his mum, and you know, had interesting conversations. She was asking him about, has he opened himself up? Has he let himself be vulnerable? You know, some of these are stock phrases though, but I'm going to take it at face
Yeah.
value for right now. And yeah, he just seems he seems down to earth, even though, like you say, he's a bloody physical specimen. He's going to be one of those. Doesn't matter what sport he tries. Probably kick the arse of me and you at football as well.
Yeah.
Even though soccer, as they might say in the US, even though he's probably never played it. So yeah, quite impressed with him so far. But I tell you what, Chris, he was shitting himself before the the limos started to turn up, wasn't he? And I'm not sure how much I bought. It seemed a little bit staged to me to say, "Oh, can we just go and have a chat?" Should we
Yeah,
go?
but
Should we go inside where all the cameras are and all the lightings are all set out and everything? Okay, we'll do that just before the limo turns up.
and Matt's never been there before, but he knew exactly what doors and what rooms to go in. I spotted that straight away. Yeah. He went to Chris Harrison. Sit down, Chris. Chris Harrison's there. And honestly, Chris Harrison's fucking genuine response in these conversations is fucking fake as anything, innit? Go on, speak. Yeah, go on, Matt. What are you saying? Yeah, I'm like, fuck off, Chris. You were not interested in this at all. All Chris is thinking is this wanker's ruined fucking the show. He's having a bad. I think that was all set away. I agree. I did think it was so funny the way he walked in. And he was shitting it. And I do think the conversation was an interesting conversation because he talked about being biracial. His dad's black, his mum's white, and talking about like some of the stigma and prejudice he's had to go in his own life, Dave. And he
Yeah.
said, didn't he? I know people want me to live a certain life, and talks about his parents. And I thought that, you know what? Whatever we think and whatever I say after this, he might be an absolute tool. But at the moment, when he said that, I thought, you know what? Respect for that. And I think it did need addressing from his side because he looked really uneasy, like you say, nervous. He felt he had to say something. It's obviously something that maybe possibly ruined his parents' relationship. But we've got to see, Dave, there's a mix of all sorts of people on this show. And Matt there has got to pick of 32 girls who, let's be honest, I only know about 3 of them, Dave, and I certainly wasn't fucking writing them all down. But yeah, I do think, I just hope with Matt, a bit like what happened with Tasha, Dave, I hope that Matt, because he's never been on TV, or so that's what we're being told, doesn't fall for all the bullshit stage stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's going to have to do some of it. And obviously, by the looks of it, he's copping off with every girl under the sun. A bit like happened with Tasha and Claire. And obviously, we got corrected on that because that's what The Bachelor's about. But I've just got a feeling he might be easy to manipulate, Dave, because he hasn't got that TV or reality TV experience.
Yeah, and this is a fucking game, isn't it? This
Yeah.
Bachelor. So if he's not, like I say, he's good at all the sports, but I'm not sure, what. I think a lead is gonna probably be better at navigating the game if they have watched lots of other seasons and participated, and then they know how it's going to go and what have you. So let's see. I mean, let's see what's happening next week or whatever window into the future, because they kind of fast forward to the end where he's got the ring and everything, don't they? But there's obviously a few tears there as well. He's obviously quite upset at one point. And so
Yeah.
let's see what kind of drama spills that, spills that over. But what I found interesting again, so I did write all these buggers down, but I'm not gonna talk about them. I'll just highlight one. So Anna I think she was a nurse, right? And she was getting hounded by Victoria, the Queen Victoria.
Oh, fucking
And
hell, yeah.
Anna was the one with the kind of blonde hair, very pretty, but she was getting hounded, to go and speak to him. And I think I would be the same as Anna, to be honest. It's like, look, if I want to get up and interrupt someone and speak to him, I'll fucking do it. Stop telling me what to do. But I thought it was a good example to say, well, look, if there are 32 girls there, if you don't go, and sort of get your slice of time, you're going home. And so I thought, there was a few girls that didn't actually speak to him tonight.
Yeah, but don't forget, Dave, we've also had this manipulation on the last series as well with Tasha and that, didn't we? And Claire especially, where a couple of the guys were shit stirring some of the others and getting riled up, where they were just fucking going off and bursting in, wanting into rooms and stuff. We all remember when Dale forgot where the toilet was, and I think was it Easy had gone to see her, or someone else had gone in because he was sick of her just pissing about. We'd had Blake had confronted her. So this is all part of the game. It is a game, you're right. And also, it can piss Matt off. He doesn't know what the hell's going on, does he? I mean, come on, Dave. We meet one of the first girls he meets, gives him a fucking dildo. So he's just like, I'm like, well, fair enough. And they blanked it out, which is fucking stupid. I understand why.
Only the top bit, though.
I know. I didn't know where it disappeared, though, Dave. It didn't seem to be on that table anyway, so someone's going to be happy while they're filming. But,
the fact that she... So, I'm going to have to... What was her name? It was Katie, 29. She's a bank marketing manager. And she said, you know what, Chris? She said, this pandemic's been really hard for me. And in that moment, I just thought, because I've heard this kind of statement, and it's like, it's been hard for everyone. What the fuck? What is specifically hard for you? This is fucking hard for everyone on the planet right now. So, but then I did a 180 because she was slightly annoying me with that statement, but then she fucking whips out the vibrator, and I'm like, all right. Fucking Matt says he thought it was a lightsaber, so I don't know. I think it was Samuel L. Jackson that had the purple one, wasn't it? But
yeah.
I don't think it was quite the length of a, of a lightsaber.
No.
It wasn't just it was a bit of a gag. It got people sort of a bit shocked, a bit laughing. Certainly memorable. You're not going to fucking forget that, are you? But it's just the fact that she fucking carried it with her all around the place, and that whole evening.
Got to give her credit, Dave. I wasn't expecting it. I genuinely wasn't. And, and I think some of the other girls who came in, they had the typical. I quite like what she did, not because it was like a vibrator and all that stuff, but I like you said, the way we didn't get the fucking violin bullshit. Like, oh my God, my cat got stuck up a tree and I had to ring the fire engine. It was the most traumatic experience of my life. And we get the fucking music and all this bullshit. It was nothing like that. It was her just coming in and taking the piss, because we'd already had a couple of sob stories from people, haven't we? And a couple of the Bachelor DNA 101 sort of entrances, whether it's male or female, the same thing. I've come here because, you're my guy or you're my girl. And I just want you to be happy. Because we're going to hear that after about one episode, aren't we? You're going to hear loads of the girls going, I just want him to be happy, and it's like, fuck off. You called him out on the last series. You were so right for that. It's so false. And I like that. And then going from her, I'll be honest with you, Dave. Look, we're two blokes doing a podcast about a reality TV show. We've got 32 women coming in here, and I am waiting, and I am loving the bitch fest, Dave. I'm a big Kardashians fan. I don't care what anyone thinks. I love that show. It gets so bitchy, it's so false and fake at times, but when they start kicking off and having a scrap, it's great. So go on.
I was going to say, I was just going to ask a question, actually, because I think I've seen a world-class resting bitch face tonight. But did you spot one at all yourself?
I spotted one when the young lady came in with the negligee and bra and knickers on, Dave. There was someone at the window, the girl with the brown hair. Is that who you mean? And she absolutely looked like she'd swallowed a fucking sour egg or something.
They weren't happy at all, but it was Kit. So 21. She's a fashion entrepreneur. 21. Yeah. All right. You fucking...
You're on Instagram. You post a couple of pictures of you in a fucking H&M t-shirt. So
the fucking definition of privilege. You've got rich parents, so you don't actually have to get a job. But she went from straight from being all smiley with Matt, and there was a few times after you saw when other people are talking, and in particular when Victoria was talking, she got that proper I want to stick a knife in you sort of face. And so I think she's going to be good entertainment, just in terms of she doesn't have a poker face at all. It's like, I fucking hate you.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's so good. And I know there's people in your life and work. There's a few I know have not got poker faces, Dave. You can literally tell when you've pissed them off. You know what I mean? You're like,
I think one of them's me.
Well, I know with Sam when I piss her off, Dave, and I'm straight away I'm like, oh fuck, we're gonna have an argument now. She's gonna say strip something, but no, genuinely, when I watched it, it was that, and when that girl came in and she had the negligee on and she walked out. I mean, what a body! You know, she was stunning. But also, I think what some of the girls were pissed off, not because she was doing that, because they were like, I wanted to do something like extravagant to really stand out. And I think that's what they're more pissed off at. It's more that they haven't got the bottle to do what she did. I don't necessarily think they're jealous of her or the way she looks because they're all stunning girls. I think it's just more like some of them were like, oh, God, I was going to do something and I didn't think it was right. And she's just gone. Obviously, we've had the dildo girl and then we've had going in a negligee. So I'm like, that, mate, well, this is going to be miles better than the Bachelorette because it's just fucking started off with fire by everyone.
So again, it's Katie is the
That's
dildo
it,
girl,
yeah,
but I think that it's going to be interesting if that sticks because she interrupted someone whose name escapes me. I think it was Mary from Puerto Rico. She interrupted her, and but then Mary just went out to the other girls and was just like, I got interrupted by dildo girl. So it'll be interesting if that one sort of just sticks or it's kind of forgotten because they're all trying to use their own little ways of making an impression. I mean, any others particularly stand out for you?
Dave, if you're going to go on a reality show and you're going to come in and you're going to try and win a complete reality TV novice, a guy called Matt who's got an absolutely grounded lifestyle by the looks of it. He's got his mum who is obviously there. We meet her. She's talking about what a good guy is. He's got a brother. He's a big athlete and stuff. You don't come in and start saying the Queen is here, bitches. Do you really?
Word.
As soon as I saw that, I just kept thinking, you're like the type of person, as much as I like Vegas, that you see on the strip or in the casinos fucking wasted, Dave. You know, just absolutely. And I'm not generalizing American women, so forgive me, ladies, because I know we have a lot of American listeners, but just in the UK as well, Dave, that sort of shit. Matt is not going to turn around and go, she's the one for me, definitely. It's just, it doesn't make sense. Why would you come in and I loved it because I was like, oh, this is, you can see the faces going out. They're
Yeah.
like, who the fuck are you? But for us as fans of the show and podcasting, it's perfect fodder. But Matt is not going to pick her. He might as well get rid of her now.
Well, I mean, she got the last rose, didn't she? And I thought, when it came down to it, and she hadn't got a rose, it was the last one there. I thought there is no way he's going to send her home, just because I think you look at his personality, he seems fairly grounded. She is just too much. She actually reminds me a bit. What was the girl who was in Casa Amor, Chris, who turned Johnny's head? Mercedes,
Oh,
it was, wasn't
Mercedes,
it?
yes. Yeah, Mercedes,
Reminds me a bit of her, a slightly
Yes.
bigger girl, but loud as anything, wants to be the center of attention, but really over the top. She reminds me quite a lot of her. And you say about Americans, I remember probably was the year before. Yeah, would have been a couple of years. Fucking hell, 2020 was a car crash, wasn't it? Didn't do anything then.
Yeah.
So it would have been the year before. Went to Barcelona to see it. Got a mate over there. And so I fly out of Luton Airport. Now, if you're from the US, you don't know Luton. It's kind of north of London, but people sound really Cockney from there. And so, it's a bit of a destination for like bachelor parties and hen parties and stuff. And I was traveling on my own because I'm going to see my mate there, and I've got this fucking hen party and a bachelor party right behind me, and all fucking probably been drinking since 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're all like, "Oh, hey!" It's just like, oh, I just want a fucking quiet flight, just so all just way over the top, and again, she would be perfectly at home. In fact, when the first limo rocked up, and you can hear all the girls screaming in the limo. I was thinking, oh God, it does seem a bit like a hen party or something, And I was thinking, if Matt's nervous now, as soon as they start rocking up and screaming, he's going to get worse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking ace. It's ace. And you're right, Dave. I think as well, like, watching this and what's on my radar now, Dave, because we got called out on this, didn't we, regarding Tasha and stuff about how basically they've got to earn the stripes. Matt James has come in and just took the show over basically because he's never been there. He's got no baggage of being a contestant on something else. This Victoria who's coming in, she was telling him to call her queen and all this bullshit, and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Is this her play to try and get her own series? Like, because she looks like she's going to be as crazy as Claire. You know, is this like she's not interested in Matt? This is just her getting into the Bachelor Nation so she can be on other shows.
Probably.
Yeah,
you know, so you know, what reasons are people here for? Like I say, in the last season, they're all fucking after, you know, getting a bigger social media following. So I think she's just there to be larger than life, you know, and there's no way she's a match for Matt. But then she might get a job on Bachelor in Paradise and again avoid working for another year. But yeah, I was just looking through. So it was Kaylee who came out with her underwear and the two dresses. Now her job, it said hostess. So she's from Chicago, Illinois. Right. What does that mean?
You know when someone says it in the UK?
It's a bit of a sexy thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it means that they're a dancer in a nightclub. I'm not saying that's the same in the US because I don't know, but it's either that or she's the hostess of a club as they walk in, you know, like the PR Dave, someone like that. Usually it just means that they stand around in their underwear in the UK. And
Yeah.
just that's basic. And considering the way she came in, we're probably not far wrong, but that's what it means in the UK. What it means in the US, I don't know. You'll have to correct me, guys. But yeah, I've given credit, Dave. You know what I mean? To do that. It took us some balls to do that and just come in like that.
Speaking of which, right, so you've got Elena, she's 25, she's a health food developer, and she's straight in there and she asks, "Can I put my balls in your mouth?" I thought it was a bit of there's something about Miriam's situation going on here, but you know, again, you know, it probably creates a bit of a shock. He's not going to forget that, is he?
No, not at all. And again, Dave, they're all vying for that little bit of something that's going to, I think for the next day, they're thinking this is going to be all over like the reality TV news, you know, this person, the vibrator girl, Kristen, she is the one that is just, Katie. She's the one who it was talked about more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you not feel like she's very, very pretty, but she's kind of normal pretty? I kind of like that. Some of them in there are like purely they look like they're probably Instagram models.
Yeah.
Whereas at least Katie just kind of looks regular. I don't know. I kind of like the fact she's been a bit silly. I did wonder how the rest of the colleagues would feel about that. But you know, she's probably not shy, is she? I mean, one of the other tricks that I thought was quite a clever thing. So Alana, 26, she's a photographer. She did a whole Lady in the Tramp thing with the spaghetti.
Oh yeah,
Do you remember her?
Yeah.
So again, I thought I like that. You know, pretty smart. Get a quick little smooch in there. I thought that was a nifty trick, just a bit playful, and yeah, I thought that was a good little tactic there.
I think as well, like you know, let's be honest, Dave. And I know we talked about this before we recorded. It's pretty fucking boring for nearly an hour, wasn't it? It was on for well, 2 hours. It was on for realistically. Nothing happened, did they? It was really slow. You know, I like this backstory of Matt and stuff. Great, and all that. And when the girls got together, I wanted some sort of punch up or something. I'll be honest with you, Dave. I wanted some sort of kick off. We got a little bit, and it looks like going off the previews for the series, because I presume we're running at about 13, 14 episodes, it's going to kick off. And there's plenty of tears, plenty of bitching, plenty of fighting between them. You know, not necessarily physically, but just giving it some needle. And I hope that it does happen every episode because we'll have plenty to talk about. But I don't know with Matt, because he was so nervous and not used to that surroundings. I didn't think he had chemistry with anyone, Dave, if I'm being honest. I don't know whether that's just a nerves thing, but I didn't see anything that really stood out. And I was like, you know, like obviously, unfortunately, we're going to have to mention a name again, but the yardstick for this is Dale and Claire because, and obviously mentioning Dale, but because the chemistry was there from the off. The Tasha stuff, I didn't
Yeah,
see
well, that's
at
because they
all,
were talking before, or at least
allegedly.
stalking their Instagrams. So I think actually, more likely it's the former, isn't it, or the
Yeah.
latter? No, it's the latter, isn't it?
The
The
latter,
opposite one.
yeah. Yeah.
So as soon as he walked out, that was just the flesh and blood version that she'd been fucking getting wet over for the previous few months.
Fucking hell. That was Dave, by the way, everybody.
So, so
Teasing me with the shock fucking
yeah,
laugh. But anyway.
I like to throw them in there though every now and then and just throw you off your game. I don't think he had massive chemistry with everyone. Certainly nothing like Claire and Dale, right? But I mean, Abigail, client finance
Yeah.
manager, she got the first impression rose. They had a bit of a smooch, didn't they? I thought it was quite funny because, again, fucking Bertie Big Bollocks, Victoria there, she's going on about, I think I've got a good chance of getting the first impression rose. And she seems to want to interrupt him at every conversation, and they're all sort of sat around in that main kind of foyer bit and then he just comes and grabs the rose and walks off.
See ya.
Girls, hope you're having a good night. Just let me take this. This is for none of you. I thought that was quite
This is
funny.
what you could have won. You know what I like as well, though, David? I said this previously when we've done some of the US reality shows. Is other than the one girl who is, obviously some sort of model on Instagram. In the UK, and this is for any of our listeners who are not in the UK, most of the UK reality TV shows, no matter what it is, they are just Instagram fake models, men and women, aren't they, Dave? They literally sell anything. Fucking hemorrhoids cream, they're there with their arse out on fucking Instagram. Anything not to get a real job. At least when we watch it in the US, most of the people have got really good jobs. They go to college. Fucking UK, Dave, there's not a lot of people go to uni. I know you went to, I didn't go to, I went to college and that, but there's not a lot of people who take further education these days, are they? It's not a majority. And in the US, they're forced to, not forced, but they have to do it to get up in the ladder and that. And I know in the UK, you have to do it. And, obviously, I understand with jobs and that. But it always seems like they're more grounded when they come. I'm not necessarily saying they're better people, but I just like the fact that they've got proper jobs. In the UK, it's like, yeah, I'm a sign guy who stands outside Pizza Hut. All right, okay, no problem. I'm an Instagram model who just, promotes deodorant or whatever. Some fucking stupid thing that is just. I mean, like we always laugh about, don't we? Saying part-time model. No, mate, you're not a part-time model. You know
You
what
do
I
something else, and then
mean?
you've done a few catalogue shoots.
Yeah, exactly. And I've mentioned it loads of times. My illustrious modelling career lasted about 6 months, Dave, and it was shit. And I could turn around and say, I was a part-time model. I don't look like a model, Dave. I look like a model of someone who shouldn't be showing the face, but that doesn't matter. I was a hand model for an electrical company and I was on TV. Did you see me? Did you fuck, Dave? But that's exactly what these people do, and they just run with it, don't they, for the CV? It's like inflating your CV, saying you're this absolute doctor of something, and it's like you've never done anything, have you? It's like, no, not really. Not really. And that's what I do respect. I don't know about you, but I like that with the US one.
I've just remembered I appeared on the front of the Student Union magazine, Chris.
What year, Dave?
Outside. That was about 96, I think.
you know, you
It
know,
was black and white, I think.
I'm going to tell you a story. I've always got a story in me, Dave. One of my stories. So, about 96, I was working at Manchester Airport. I'd left school, gone to get my electrical apprenticeship, didn't get it. I ended up working in the offices while we were trying to get me electrical engineering stuff. And they turned around and said, me being me, Dave, Mr. Gobshite and, totally outspoken. Would you be interested in doing an article for the Manchester Airport newspaper for the staff and that? And would you be interested in being like on some advertisements for us for the company. And that's what I said, yeah, no problem. So I was like, obviously, you know me now, Dave. I have a bit of a super quiff and all that, but I had my hair flat at the time and I had an earring in, a ring earring, and I did all these pictures. And I was working from engineering. I had to do like a stint in payroll because they put you in different areas to learn different parts of the company. And there's a picture of me with two pay slips right next to my head, like this, right, Dave? So one day, I used to cycle to Manchester Airport. It was about an 18-mile round trip every single day. I did that for 4 years. And I'm cycling near Manchester Airport, near Terminal 1, Dave. And who do you think's on a 20-foot billboard, Dave? Me. And it was there for a long time. And everyone used to, obviously didn't have mobile phones then. And I'm like, I look like a right cock. There's no way I should be up there. And I had the earring in. I look like a fucking not shaved. I look like a right tramp. I was only about 17, 18, but it was my claim to fame, Dave. And luckily I didn't ask for copies of it because I just looked ridiculous.
Is this back in the day when you looked like the Dirty Dancing actor?
Crazy, yeah.
What's her
Jennifer
name?
Grey.
Jennifer Grey.
Right, tell everyone the story, Dave. So, this is true. This is God's honest truth. From being the age of about 10, I've had a few people quite regularly come up to me. Obviously, it depends how fit or how slim I am. I've said to me, "You've got to look at Patrick Swayze right now." Sam thinks it's hilarious. She's like, "Fuck off! I'm not married fucking Johnny from the Dirty
I
Dancing."
wish.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, certainly can't dance like him. So I'd had this on and off day. I don't look like him. I know I don't, but I've had this on and off a lot of people. I think it's the eyes, and we said let's do the face swap, right? Didn't we? So we did the face swap app. So you did loads. Your face is brilliant for whether you're Tony Stark or
The
there's
Rock.
various. The Rock. Your face for some reason is so photogenic. It's unreal, honestly. And I put my face on Patrick Swayze, and it didn't look that far off Patrick Swayze. But then fucking one of our listeners, Glenn, who listens to us on the other podcasts, went, "You look more like Jennifer Grey." And when I looked, my face swap was on Patrick Swayze, and Jennifer Grey before the nose up is there. And that looked more like me.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, when you think about it, they do look quite similar to each other.
It's the eyes and nose, I think. But yeah, it wasn't what I was going for, Dave, and I've never lived that down since.
Not with me. So, now, Chris, did any of the other girls sort of catch your eye tonight before the rose ceremony?
Not really, Dave. I think I'll be honest with you. I did lose a bit of interest at certain points because it's just difficult to keep track. I just picked up on the stuff that I knew we would want to talk about because it was ridiculous, like Victoria, Katie, Underwear Girl, that sort of thing. I genuinely did.
Oh,
The
I
rest of
bet
it,
you, yeah, wrote down a few notes there.
I've only mentioned it 8 times today, Dave. But no, but there was not a lot that picked up from that. I must admit.
What do you reckon to Matt saying his prayers there?
Um,
And
I don't
in
want to
fact, let
offend
me
anyone.
not say there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. He's obviously a religious guy, and we know, a lot of the Bachelor Nation is very, very religious. We're not, but
Yeah,
have no
we're not.
problem with people being like that. I think, and I won't put you on the spot quite that much, but I thought some of the reaction was a bit over the top for me.
Yeah, just a little bit. Look, like I say, I'm not religious anymore. I've brought up Catholic. I am not bothered what religion, God, or anything you're into. If it gets you through the day, gets you through life, great, no problem at all. My religion, Dave, is wearing a red shirt, the greatest football team in the world. Have got a game in hand over Liverpool and look like they are on their way back. That is my religion, and that is the wonderful Manchester United, Dave. And that's the only thing I support in my life, other than my wife and daughter. And I'm happy with that. But yeah, I get it. And I think that, like we said, look what happened with Tasha, Dave, when she binned off Ivan. And we didn't see any of that. And straight away she went, the religion's going to be an issue. And we were like, what the fuck's going on here? You've met the family. And I just hope that doesn't become something that runs through the whole series because it's a very difficult thing to maneuver for anybody who's not religious, Dave. I think that's going to be quite difficult if you're not a religious person, as in the girls who were on the show.
Yeah, I think just a side note as well. I did listen to an interview with Ivan, and he did sound a little bit sore, about the whole religion thing because his attitude was it's kind of similar to ours. It's like, look, I'm actually he's the same as me. He's agnostic, so not atheist, but a lot of people assume you're atheist if you're agnostic. Agnostic just means you believe in, that there's something, you just don't know what it is, and you don't adhere to a particular religion. You don't like
Yeah.
this is the right one and all the others are wrong kind of thing. Um, so yeah, he did seem a little bit pissed off by that, and it did seem that they'd had that conversation in the fantasy suite setting. So when all the cameras were off, and it's you enter the conversation about how you're going to raise the kids. Are you going to raise them up to be super religious, or are you going to leave them to make their own mind up? Which is kind of Ivan's perspective on it. So obviously that didn't go down very well. But anyway, yeah, it's very clear that if any of these girls, mind you, they won't have watched that season before they'd have filmed this one, I
No,
guess.
no.
But yeah, so very clear that Matt is very religious. So the girls should, even if they're not, they should play up that they are a bit. I just found that. So it was Rachel, who in particular was crying, because she was so moved by the prayer. It's
Oh,
just
it's
like,
fucking bullshit,
oh,
innit?
come on, I'm not having that.
No, it's fucking bullshit. And something's just dawned on me, Dave. I am with you completely on this. Do you remember when, Chris Harrison, Dave, he left because his son was moving and whatever he was doing? They filmed this pretty much close together. Do you think Matt James was this so-called son that he was actually filming this at the same time, Dave? And that's why he couldn't be on The Bachelorette, because I'm calling bullshit. They're in Pennsylvania for this one, Dave, nowhere near where they filmed The Bachelorette. So I am genuinely believing now, as we're talking, that that's the whole my son was moving nonsense.
Maybe. I don't think so. I think with the sleuthing that Bachelor Nation does, I think we'd know that if it was the case. I mean, it could have been, but I doubt it. Actually, one of the things we've not discussed, Chris, La Quinta, it's quite nice, isn't it? It's got
Yeah.
got a nice little reputation there. It looks a fucking shithole compared to this place, doesn't it? Let's face it. Right?
Yeah.
This place is where all the budget's gone.
Yeah, it's fucking when Matt walked in with Chris, there was a big difference, Dave, wasn't there? I mean, it could be because of what happened with lockdown. They had to react. They had to get somewhere where every man and his fucking dog was living on there. Everyone who pops up every week in this so-called bubble. By the time they finished on The Bachelorette, the fucking bubble was bigger than the London fucking Dome, Dave, wasn't it? It was ridiculous. So I think it might be that. And then they've reacted to Matt's season, and they've got, I mean, the place, they've, like say, when he walks through with Chris, it's fucking phenomenal place, Dave.
Yeah.
Absolutely I mean, I was laughing when Matt actually went to sit down at the barbecue area and smashed his head because he's so big. I think he must be about 6'6". He's a big lad.
Yeah. I was looking at Chris Harrison. I had to look up his height. He's like 5'8", I think. He's same height as me, but he looks like a fucking munchkin. Or a fucking Oompa Loompa next to Matt James, doesn't he? So glad I'm not stood next to him.
I mean, you stood together, David. You know what I mean?
I know, yeah,
No, it's not. It's not. I don't look like Matt anyway, Dave.
yeah.
If
But
only. If only.
But yeah, I honestly I found certainly the first half of the episode found it hard going, but I always do with these episode ones, and like I say, with so many women, record number of women this time. I don't know why they had to do that, because it just means they get a little bit less time, So when they're going off the conveyor belt, you remember a few of them, but not all of them. So yeah, hopefully, I do think Victoria is going to be right in the thick of the drama. I think some of the others you can see having a bit of a set to in the previews. We're getting a bit of boxing by the looks of it going to be coming up. So yeah, looking forward to next week, Chris.
I can't wait, Dave. I honestly can't wait. And as always, guys, Get your emails in. If you agree, disagree with us, come on, let's talk about it. We've had a couple of discussions on Facebook. We're trying to get Charlene to watch it, Dave, because she's not watching it, but she's listening to the podcast, but she's got to
I
watch
don't
it.
know why you're trying to subject her.
If we've got to watch it, she's got to watch it, Dave.
She already
She
goes
will.
way beyond the Call of Duty by looking after the Facebook group for us.
I know it is dedication, Dave, but I'll sit there thinking, "Go on, Charlene, don't let the team down." So I'm putting an SOS call out to Charlene now on the show. She has to watch it. But no, we've got plenty of people tuning in there on the Facebook page. Get over there, guys. Chris and Dave's reality TV cast and join the conversation. We've got our good friend Agnes Dave, who's followed us all the way over from Love Island, the first series we did. She's a lovely lady, and she's on our Facebook page now. She was talking to her the other day on Twitter. So get over there. If you want to contact us, email us as always, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. And don't worry, if you give me abuse, Dave revels in it. And if you give Dave abuse, I definitely revel in it. So we have no problem. If you've got any issue with what we said today and any reviews you want to do on the show, get on your podcast catching up, guys. So, Mr. Horrocks, great first episode, and like you say, a bit slow in places, but we've had plenty to chat about, and yeah, it's all set up for next week, and I'm sure we're going to be massively offended by this fucking fake drama, but this is what we signed up for.
Yeah, I can't wait. So again, we probably won't be doing a bonus episode this week. We're going to try and get ahead with some of our other podcasts, and so yeah, it'll be same time next week. And yeah, I'm expecting now that the table is set, all the pieces are there, then we'll actually get some proper drama next week. So Chris, it's been a pleasure as always. I'll speak to you next time.
Take care, mate. See you, everyone. Bye.